Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it.
Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today is episode 2 of A to Z for new ball python owners. What are we going to talk about in episode 2?
Today is husbandry. And when we're talking about husbandry, we're talking about the setup for your ball python. Whether it be the enclosure itself, the lighting, the temperatures, anything that has to do with the enclosure and how you set it up to keep your reptile is what we're talking about when we're talking about husbandry. So to get into just a few things that you might need to know, we're going to talk about the enclosure itself. And that is choosing whether you want to go with a aquarium, vivarium type enclosure. And you can either do bioactive, which you'll want to have live plants, isopods, springtails, those kind of things. You will want to black out 3 sides of your enclosure to make them feel safe. You'll want to make sure that it's you know, your springtails and your isopods will do the cleanup, but you also want to make sure that you're cleaning it as well. You do want to make sure that they feel safe, so you're going to do your hides. You're going to want to make sure that you have a locking system for the top. If you're doing a mesh enclosure on the top, you do want to have some of that closed off because you're going to let out too much humidity, and you do want to keep some of that humidity in. They need that for good quality sheds. And we'll talk about sheds in another video, but it is very important for them to have a good quality humidity. But ventilation is very, very, very important. Rack system is another enclosure that you might want to go with. Lots of people who have multiple ball pythons have rack systems, and it's a good system to have if you have a lot of ball pythons, just because you can keep them in one space. The temperatures are always the same. Just because you have it in one system, you've got everything all together. You can have them on 1 thermostat, 2 thermostats. All your probes are right there in one system, and your heating systems are all there. So that's a good system to have. They don't normally need hides in a rack system because they are enclosed. Let's see.
Another type of enclosure would be a tub system. Just your iris tubs. You can go to Target and buy some shoebox tubs. With the tubs, you want to make sure that you do have ventilation and the lids do lock on them. Ball pythons are very notorious of escaping. So just like what Angie was saying with the aquarium and vivariums, you need a locking system because you will notice your ball python pushing on things. And if it's not secure, they will push off that lid. Another thing, going back to the rack system, is yes, they are a very good setup, a good place to house your ball pythons. But if you're wanting your ball python as a pet where people can see it, the racking system is not good, because you can buy clear tubs for it, but most of them are gray tubs where you can't see in. Yeah. So going back to the aquarium vivarium, would be your best type of housing if it is a pet snake and you're wanting to show it off. Now remember, ball pythons, you'll hardly ever see them. They'll be in their hides. So if you buy a ball python to show it off, you're not going to see it much.
They mostly like to be secured and hidden. They like their hides. They will come out and show off every once in a while. And towards evening and in the night hours, they'll be out and about, scooting around. But they like to feel secure. So if you do have one of the glass enclosures, one of the vivariums or aquariums, you want to make sure that there's lots of clutter in there. They want plants in there. They want, whether it's a fake plant that you've bought, somewhere at the Dollar Tree or one of those craft stores, you want to make sure that they have plenty of things in there that they feel secure hiding under, and that they can always feel like they can hide and
get away.
And get away.
So let's talk about what needs to go inside. So we're talking aquarium / vivarium. We're talking a tub system, a iris type tub, or we're talking a racking system.
Right.
All three of those things you'll need certain things for.
Right.
So let's start at the very base of what the base of the tub would be.
You need your thermometer. You need water bowl. You need a thermostat to make sure that your temperatures stay at the right temp. You do not want like a heat rock. Those will burn your snakes.
Yeah, the heat rocks get way too hot and they will burn your snake. So when she's saying you're heating, so we're going to talk about the bottom of your aquarium, tub, whatever you use. You're going to need a heating system. There's several different things you can do. A heat pad, which is kind of like one of the medical heat pads. But they have a sticky that stick to the bottom of the tub.
And they're made specifically for reptiles.
For the reptiles. That will plug into your thermometer, or your thermostat. I'm sorry. And your thermostat will be actually plugged into the wall. With the thermostat, you'll have a probe, a thermometer, little tip, that you'll put inside the tub, underneath the bedding, or the substrate. And you'll want that spot to be
underneath where they will be on the heated side, right above the heat pad.
Right.
Because you want to keep that a certain temperature. We're going to talk about the substrates. We're going to talk about the temps that you want to keep on the hot side of your tub and the cold side of your tub, or the cool side. And those are two different temperatures, so they can go to one side to cool down and be on one side to keep their bodies warm.
Once you get your heat pad in, then you're to throw your substrate down. And like Angie said, we'll go over the different types of substrates. You can use some pros and cons with the substrates. On top of the substrate, you'll throw your hides in. Typically 2 hides, one on the hot side, one on the cold side. You're going to need a water dish, like she said, and usually place that in the middle between the hot and the cool side. And then, as she said, the clutter. You don't want to clutter, because for a healthy ball python that will eat for you, because they are very picky eaters, that snake has to feel secure. And your enclosure has to be dialed in.
Right.
If one thing is off,
they'll go off of food.
So okay, so we talked about enclosure types.
We want to talk about the temperatures. What should it be on the cool side? On the cool side, we're going to go, it needs to be between
about 80 degrees.
80 degrees. On the warm side, it needs to be between 88 and 92, because you want that heat to be what it would be for them out in the nature, out and what they would have when they were in their natural habitat.
And they're going to need that hot side to help digest
their food. And the substrates we're going to go over, there's pros and cons to all of them. And we have actually used all of them, so we can go over a little bit about each one of them. We've used the cocoa chip.
So the first substrate we'll talk about is the cocoa chip. Cocoa chip is shredded coconuts. It's the fiber of the coconuts. They block it up, they chip it up, and that's what the cocoa. You can buy it in like square bells that's compressed together. You add water to it, it expands out, and that's what you can use.
It's good. It's good for keeping the humidity up in the tub. It's really good at cleanup because you can just go in there and spot clean. You only really have to do a deep clean once a month. Change it completely out. It does hide the feces and the urates. The problem with cocoa block or cocoa chip sometimes is that you do tend to get gnats sometimes, and you can buy machines on Amazon or any of those kind of things, and you can run them. You put a little bit of apple cider vinegar and a little bit of Dawn dish soap, and that little machine will take care of your gnat problem. It's not a big deal. So cocoa chip is fine. That's the only drawback I think we've had.
And talking about the gnats, I mean, when you're talking high humidity and a food source, the feces,
the poop.
I mean, it's a perfect breeding ground for gnats. So yes, if you could get gnats, it's not the end of the world. It's not harmful to your snakes.
No,
it's just a pest.
It's a pest, and it doesn't matter. We're up here every single day spot cleaning. It still happens. So it's just one thing that you can deal with. Aspen is another substrate bedding that you can use. It's wonderful. You can easily see
the feces
and urates. Easy to spot clean. It does not hold humidity, so you do have to be very, very aware of the humidity. Sometimes you will have to run a humidifier or something like that just to keep your humidity up, or you just have to be aware so that your snake can easily
have
shed.
A proper shedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one is paper towels. We've used paper towels.
That's what we use on our hatchlings. Every hatchling tub, we have paper towels.
It's not the most ideal. It's not nice to look at. You do have to change them a lot. The hatchlings get changed about every day.
But it's a very easy cleanup.
It's very easy cleanup.
You can see the feces. You can see the urates.
Yeah.
It's just not pleasant.
It's not pleasant to look at.
If you have a pet ball python sitting in your living room, it's not visually appealing.
No, it's not. The substrates are a lot more appealing. Unprinted newspaper or the liners that you can purchase. Again, very easy cleanup, just very not appealing at all. But it's the same as the paper towels. Very easy to see and very easy to clean up. One that you never, ever, ever want to use is cedar.
Yes.
Cedar has the oil in it that is
very
lethal.
Toxic.
Yeah,
very
it's toxic. So it can harm or kill your snake.
And you don't want to just not use it on your snakes, but if you're breeding rats, you don't want to use it for your rat bedding.
No.
Because of course those oils will get on your rat, and then you're to feed the rat to the snake.
So
stay away from the cedar.
Stay away from the cedar. Well, I think we've talked about the substrates. We've talked about the humidity. We've talked about the hides.
Right.
Is there anything that I have missed?
The heating systems.
The heating.
So yes, so once again, it's up to y'all which one, whatever housing you want to use, the aquarium, vivarium, the tubs, the rack systems. No matter which one you use, you're pretty much to set them up the same way. You know, you have your heating source, and it has to be plugged into a thermostat. Has to be plugged into a thermostat. Without a thermostat, that heating source will get too hot and kill your snake.
Right.
You want to make sure that it stays on the hot spot around 92 degrees. You'd have your hides in there, one on the hot side, one on the cold side, with a water dish in the middle. You'd have your substrate. Cocoa block is probably the easiest to help maintain humidity, but at the same time, it's hard to see your feces, your urates. The aspen, we use the aspen now. We do run a humidifier in our room, but it's easy to spot clean because we know exactly where we need to spot clean. If you do a aquarium vivarium, a lot of them come with a mesh top, a screen top. You will have to kind of tape off 3/4 of that top to help keep the humidity in the tank. They do sell, I don't know the technical term, you can buy a thing to put inside your tank, inside your enclosure, to tell you what the humidity is. But with all that stuff, if it's all dialed in,
you should have a healthy snake
that eats for you.
And you should be ready for the next video, which is purchasing.
Is it purchasing?
It is.
Yeah. So now we've talked about the genetics, some of the definition of genetics. As you're researching which snake you want, you can look at the genetics and the different morphs, and the morphs, which genetic trait they belong to. Now we've talked about the husbandry to get your
snake ready to
get your
housing ready.
Yep, the home for your new snake. So once you have that set up, we will get into how to purchase your snake. So was that it?
That's it.
That was all the notes.
That is all the notes. That is.
I know we needed to see. So the cool side, like Andrew said, you want the cool side to be between 75 and 80 degrees. You want the warm side to be 80 to 85, with the basking spot where your snake will be hunkered down underneath the hide between 88 and 92 degrees. Your humidity you want to keep between 50 and 60%. And to help keep that humidity is the substrate we talked about, the ventilation, the water bowl, and then some misting if you need to mist. We talked about the clutter inside with your fake plants and driftwood. We talked about the two different hides, the one on the hot side, one on the cool side. We talked all the different substrates. We talked do not use a heat rock. You can use a heat lamp if you have a basking spot, say on top of the hide. If you want your snake to go up there and bask, you can use a heat lamp. You want that heat lamp in that basking spot, again, between 88 and 92 degrees. But you do want to hide on the hot spot, and you do want the heat underneath, what we call belly heat. You want belly heat. You need no matter what type of enclosure you use, you want to make sure it's got a locking device, because your snakes will try to
push
escape.
Out. Yeah, they'll try to escape.
Talk about the screen tops. And you talked about darkening the three sides if you do use the aquarium type setup. And it really is just to keep that snake feeling secure. So yes, we covered everything with husbandry. Of course, as we said in the last video, you as the customer, it's your responsibility to dive deeper into it. to learn more about it. These are just quick talking points.
Quick talking points. Of course, people are always available to answer questions if you have questions. You know, we're always happy to answer and help as much as we can.
Yeah, reach out to us on YouTube. Reach out to us on Instagram.
IG, yeah.
Reach out to us on Facebook. You can also reach out to us on Morph Market.
Yeah.
So if you do have questions
I think
about this video,
I think
or
our
any,
email is listed on some of those too. So.
So if you have questions, you're a new keeper and you have some questions, reach out to us. We have no problem getting back with you. I don't think I can say any breeder would have a problem getting back to you. You know, this is a community. It's a tight-knit community. We support one another. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
We are breeding right now. So if you are looking for a snake in the future, make sure you stay with us and we'll show you what we have available.
And don't forget, if you're not subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. We're trying to reach that 1,000 subscriber goal. When we get there, we're doing another giveaway. So,
and it'll be a big giveaway.
It'll be a big giveaway.
Yeah.
We've got people already volunteering some stuff. We've got good things on the horizon. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a visual recessive that we will be giving away this time. We don't know what it will be yet, but we will be, fingers crossed, making some visual recessives this year.
Visual stuff coming. We've got some other things that are snake related but not snakes, so we got some good stuff.
Yes.
Got some good stuff to give away, so we'll see.
Yeah, so once again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting us. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell for every time we do post a video, you'll get notified of it. Share the video out. If you have friends looking at it getting into snakes, share the video out. Say, hey, check these guys out. They're putting out some good content.
And we'll be right here doing what we love and loving what we do.
Good night, all.